Hi, in this video, I'll talk to you about jobs in the USA. I was thinking about these things around 4 o'clock in the morning, uh, right here in the darkness of my room. All right, so it's easier for women to find jobs faster than men because women know more people. That's an opinion. If you believe that, then if you're a woman, you'll say, well, yes, it's true. And if you're a man, you'll say, no, that's not true. Uh, you can find a job if you have a trade like carpentry or computer skills, plumbing, electricity, something like that. If you don't have any job skills and the only thing on your resume is your name and phone number and that you're available to work, then you'll have a tough time finding a job because eventually they look at your age. Okay, you're 18 years old, they'll give you a job. But if you're at some store, let's say like a cashier or somewhere, restaurants. But if you're 40 years old and you don't have anything to put on your resume, then people will not give you a job most of the time. So I was going to tell you what you can do so that you do get hired. And the first thing you got to do is you got to have a money skill. You got to be a carpenter or have some sort of trade. Two, you got to be in shape because they do overlook people that are fat. Uh, some employers already know that if you're fat, you don't like to work. If it's a physical job, if you, for the most part, these are stereotypes. But uh, my own mother, one time, they told her, "We're not going to hire you because I don't know if I can get around you." And another job, they asked her if she was Cuban. This is in Miami. There are a lot of Cubans in Miami. And my mother is from Honduras. She's Italian and speaks Spanish, but just like we have immigrants in the United States, we have immigrants in Honduras. And even though the immigrants, like the Italians, the Arabs, the Chinese, well, the Chinese always look different, but even the Arabs look different. Even my mother looked different because she was the only redhead in the whole school and possibly in the whole town. What happens though is many immigrants, their children don't speak the language of their parents. They only speak English, or in Honduras they speak Spanish. That's it. All right, I'm going to tell you how I did not get hired. One time, my friend asked me to, he worked in the cafeteria at the Volusia County Schools, and he said, go apply for the job, Daniel. So I did. I went to talk to the man, and the first thing he said to me was, I'm your boss. However, she is your supervisor. Will you obey her? And I said, yes, I'm ready to work. Nice to meet you, man. So I was in good shape at that moment. Then he asked me eventually one question. Why do you want this job? And I said, I need a cushy job. So, by cushy, I mean a soft, gentle job. But he didn't hire me. And then my coworker, he actually went to my coworker, my friend went to ask his boss, and he told me what happened. He said, he didn't hire you because of the word cushy. You like gentle jobs. And I said, well, what I meant is I don't want to drive all the way to Orlando And driving over here, that's a nice cushy job because it's just right here next to the house a little bit. So I didn't get hired because of that question, that response to his question. When I was 25, 26, I applied at Barnes and Noble's bookstore, and the lady there asked me, "Do you have any questions?" And I said, "I have a comment. I want to work here. However, I don't want to touch any of the gay or the lesbian books." Because I had been in a porn store. I didn't tell her this part. I had been in a porn store, and the covers of those books are what some people call graphic. But I didn't know that Barnes and Nobles had. Well, the covers on those books probably didn't have pictures of people having sex, but I didn't know that. So when I had already been a customer of the store, and I had walked around, and I had seen the gay and the lesbian section, and I just walked around it. I never picked a book up and looked at the cover or checked them out. But I told her I don't want to touch any of those books. So obviously she didn't hire me. All right, my third job interview, I was already working as a security guard, making $300 a week perhaps. And sometimes they don't pay you as a security guard. They don't pay you the overtime. The companies, they lie to you. They say, "Oh," or they tell you something that's, "Daniel, you're a salary employee. You don't get overtime." All right, that's a way of lying and stealing from the employees. So one time, I worked in a condo with the rich people, and one man came down and asked my coworker and myself if we wanted to work with him or if we knew anybody, and that he was paying $500 a week, and it was just to drive him around and to take his daughter to school and pick her up and things like that. And I said, "Sounds great." So I said, "Think about it, and then I'll see you tomorrow, and you can come and talk to me about it if you're interested." So I went the next day to see him upstairs in his apartment, the condominium, and he was there with his wife. Well, the family was there, probably his daughter too, but I don't remember seeing the daughter. But what happened was, before I went over there, uh, the other security guard, he said, "I'm old. I don't have a car." He gets there on a bicycle. Now I'm thinking he wasn't that old. He was only 45. But he says, "You do it, Daniel. I won't take this job." And then the valet walked over to us. Now, this is the valet I didn't get along with. He was also from Honduras. And he said to me, or to both of us, "You know, he's hired 5 valets, and he has also fired them. Nobody lasts more than a week with him." Well, then I said, "Well, I already have an appointment with him tomorrow. And $500, that's better than 300." So I went upstairs to his room. I met him. He was nice. I liked him. And I met his wife briefly, only for 60 seconds. Then she walked back out. And when she walked out, he said, "Do you have anything to say?" I said, "This is great. I would love this job. I take your daughter to school, pick her up. I take you to the airport, pick you up." And then I told him, "The only thing is, I will not drive you to your girlfriend's houses if you have any girlfriends. Because I already met your wife and she's very nice. She was very nice to me and everything, so I will not drive. And would you believe he got angry at me? He said, I am an I he was speechless for a sec. He was speechless for a second. He said, I am a TWA executive. That's an airline. He said, I'm asking you to drive my daughter and take her to school. And then he just became quiet. And then, well, obviously I didn't get the job. I think I just said, well, thank you, sir, and walked out. But what was happening is I was probably 30 years old. Yeah, because I had a daughter by then, 31, 32. And so I said, yeah, I made some silly mistakes, huh? But my own brother told me, Daniel, you don't like driving. And this he told me when I was going for the CDL license, and which I did get. But I never drove a truck because I didn't know how to drive a truck. They give you this license just because you can park the semi truck, but you can't really drive it on the street. And I didn't want to hurt anyone. So it's true. I don't like driving. I don't drive anymore. I turned in my driver's licenses. Well, it's only one, but I gave up the CDLA as soon as I moved up here, and then 7 years ago, and then I gave up driving last year when it was time to renew my driver's license. I gave it up because my wife would not lend me her car to go to church, so, and then she would criticize my driving every time I drove, so I stopped driving and I stopped touching her car. Now she's upset. She wants me to start driving because she's tired of driving all over the place. And she has to go put gas, she has to go put oil, she has to go change the tires, she has to go buy tires, she has to go do all the things that I used to do. So she's upset about that. She is such an angry person, my wife. I'm not supposed to talk bad about her. Here I go again. She didn't want me to keep the antifreeze and the coolant, which is the same thing, the coolant in the back of the. I had a little milk crate, and I had all these. I had a funnel. I had the jack. I had all those things right there organized, and she just didn't want them in her car. I had a towel so that I could clean and everything. I had paper. I have paper towels. I had all the things you need to check the oil on your car, and she didn't want them. She would really take them out, put them in the garage, and then I'd be upset because then I needed to check it. I had to go all the way to the garage to get everything. Then the funnel was not there, and so now she has to do all of those things herself. But she doesn't say I'm sorry. Okay. I think that I would like it that if she when she does die, because she just doesn't sit still. But when she does die, I would like it if God would show her all these videos. All right. So those 3 times I didn't get hired. The wife doesn't know that the reason I left Miami was because I wanted to be I had been trained to think that if you have more than one girlfriend, then you're a bad person. And so I wanted to leave my 3 other girlfriends and just have this one wife over here. Well, I wanted to move to Honduras, but this wife is from Honduras and she never wanted to move back. She didn't even want to leave Miami. She made my life very difficult, but she finally left Miami. There was no parking. Just to go visit my mother, I remember it was $8, $1 per hour, and I used to take these quarters, and then I used to go to the Publix, walk in, and come back and put more quarters in the car. And then she said, "You're not leaving," and I said, "The cake is not ready," she would say. So we'd stay. So there's no parking in Miami. It's just not worth living over there. All right. Be better than I am. If you have any problems, contact me. Um, Perhaps I can help you. Other people have helped me. Why not? I could help you. Uh, Read the Bible. Study the Bible verses. If you read the whole thing, it might be boring. But if you read Bible verses, then you will see, like 2 Timothy 3:16. All Scripture is good and beneficial for edifying or correcting your life and your behavior. Be better than I am. Thank you.